Here are 5 teams that don't get talked about enough to use in your dynasty in the new EA College Football 25 video game. Number 1, Texas State, a program that has not been in the FBS very long. First came in 2012 in the WAC. It's a decent start for Texas State, then it was a rough few years, but now the Cats are on the rise. Some would say they're eating up. Last year, they had their first winning season since 2014 and won their first bowl game ever. Not only that, you get very interesting uniforms with a fun and cool color scheme, and I just gotta tell you, man, UFCU Stadium is one of the most beautiful small school stadiums in the country. It's just, look at this thing. It's awesome. It looks so cool. The architecture's sick. The bright side to this team, they have the number 1 overall class in the 2024 cycle for the Sun Belt. We'll highlight players you really need to know coming into Texas State for this next few game that could help. One is offensive tackle Isaiah Walker Jr. from JUCO. He was the number 9 JUCO player overall in the country and the number 2 offensive tackle. And then Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year from last season, Jordan McLeod. He had over 3,500 passing yards and 35 touchdowns. He also led his team in rushing touchdowns with 8. Almost 4,000 yards of total offense and 43 touchdowns. He threw for over 250 yards in 9 games. He also tied the JMU single game touchdown record with 6. By the way, that was in 3 different games. Talk about a key addition, especially for a team that lost their quarterback from last year, TJ Finley, who went to Western Kentucky. Shout out TJ, actually ate Whataburger next to him at Auburn. Cool dude. Tall as hell. Texas State is a prime example of an underrated dynasty team in the new EA College Football game. Next, we got a program that has been building a true foundation for the new era of college football the past 10 years, Memphis. A team that last had a losing season in 2013, and then Justin Fuente and Mike Norvell got them going. Strong G5 team. You're talking about a team that can literally make the playoff. So, good thing for Memphis too, these uniforms. Everyone loves the tiger stripe helmets. Personally not my favorite, but because the M logo with the tiger jumping over the M is so sick. I love that, but they mix it up. It was kind of 50-50 this past year. Another huge thing for Memphis, the number 1 transfer portal class in the AAC this year. Tons and tons of Power 5 talent transferred in. That doesn't mean everyone's always going to pan out, but still, that's huge, especially for depth for this team. Also got Liberty Stadium. I don't know if the renovations are going to be in the game, but still, good size stadium. To watch that thing fill up once you start adding even more W's to the Tigers' resume. We also got some key pieces that will make it fun playing with this team. Seth Hennigan, the quarterback. Brock Taylor, the best wide receiver coming back to the AAC for sure. Mario Anderson, the South Carolina transfer who led South Carolina in rushing yards last year. Memphis is going to have a captain and leader leading that defense at linebacker in Chandler Martin. If you want a disruptive linebacker to play with in this new game, he is the guy for you. 95 tackles, 17 tackles for loss. Taylor had over 1,000 yards last year, leading his team in receiving yards, easily the number 1 wide receiver, and 69 receptions. Nice. He had 6 games with over 100 yards receiving. Hennigan, who almost threw for 4,000 yards and 32 touchdowns last year. You're talking about a guy that in-game will help you so much, especially in the AAC, and you can definitely get Memphis into that playoff spot. Tigers are a prime candidate for a great team in the new game. Next, we got Old Dominion. Old Dominion, like Texas State, has not been FBS very long. They joined in 2014, and they only have 1 winning season since they've been FBS. That came with a 10-3 season, which is crazy, in 2016. Since then, it's been a losing season ever since, but this past year, they did go to a bowl game and lost and went 6-7. So there was improvement from a 3-9 season. You get a really good stadium that was recently renovated, and the uniforms, man. Baby blue is just great. With Memphis, they had a great linebacker, but this team also, if you need a linebacker, especially for a team program you're trying to look to rebuild, and you like to play as a linebacker instead of an edge, this is the team for you. You need to know the name Jason Henderson. Last year, he was voted first team All-American by 6 different outlets, second team All-American by 8, and he was first team All-Sun Belt. Obviously. He led the country in tackles per game with 14.2, and he was actually 3rd in tackles per loss a game with 1.6. He finished the year 2nd in the country in total tackles, and he was only 2nd by 1 tackle, playing 2 less games than the guy above him, Jay Higgins, who had the most at Iowa. Finished the year tied for 4th in the country with 19.5 tackles for loss, and he had 11 double-digit tackle games and led the team in tackling 9 times. This guy is a key piece for defense. If you love to play defense, like I said, at linebacker, some people play D-line, some play edge, whatever you like to do. If you're a linebacker guy, this is the team for you if you're not looking for a superstar team to start your dynasty. So if you like to recruit, this is the school for you. They need your help. Finished with a 100+ ranked recruiting class the last 4 years. The last top 100 class came in 2020 with 89. Before you say they're probably making it up with transfers, they were 99th this past year in transfer ranking. Their highest class in school history was 78th in 2014. They really haven't come close to that since. Recruit, and look hella good in those baby blues. Now we go to the MAC. Akron resides, but it's not Akron. I always call Akron America's favorite rebuild in these games, but we've already done Akron. We got to go underrated here. Everyone always thinks of Akron. we got to give love to Kent State. Since 1962, they only have 9 winning seasons, 6 of those coming before 2000. 4 of those were in the middle of the 70s. Last winning season was 2019, and it was only a 7-6 record. Did have a win in the Frisco Bowl, though. That being their only bowl win. Surprisingly, they do have a 10-win season, a 10-plus win season. They went 11-3 in 2012. Sadly, lost to Arkansas State in the GoDaddy Bowl. Last back-to-back winning seasons, 1976 and 1977. They were 25-50 in the last 10 years in the MAC, and they were winless in the MAC last year. Been to the MAC championship twice in 2012 and 2021, losing both times to Northern Illinois. You have one MAC championship, 1972, ultimately losing in a bowl game to Tampa. So usually their best years have still resulted in a postseason loss, sadly. Now, you can change that. I mean, heck, you can get them a lot of things. Now, you have the Wagon Wheel rivalry, which is amazing, and attainably close. They only trail 36-28 to Akron. The other rivalry they have, you can put a dent into making up ground, but you probably won't have enough seasons in Dynasty to be able to catch back up. They trail 61-24 in their matchups against Bowling Green. You do have Dick's Stadium, which is actually a pretty nice small stadium, and I like how they kind of made it circular around the edges to make sure that it feels like it's a little bit more enclosed than it is. Also, the Flash logo is awesome. Some fun uniform combinations to play with. I mean, fun. There's just like an endless amount. Kent State definitely needs your help. Last but not least, we have UTEP. Since 2006, UTEP has only 2 winning seasons. Still haven't won a bowl game since 1967, the Sun Bowl. Enough, they've only won 5 bowl games, and all of them were the Sun Bowl. That is their home stadium. It was also their conference, the Border Conference at the time, that the winner of the Border Conference generally got the invitation to the Sun Bowl. Technically, they won some of those bowls on their old home field. Because if you look up at the top, the track and field area is the old Kid Field, which is where the original Sun Bowl was before it became the Sun Bowl that it is now, right there. UTEP has had a pretty rough last decade. They are definitely an underrated rebuild team. Recruiting is alright, but big thing here for UTEP, they had the #1 overall class in the 2024 cycle for the CUSA. Now, albeit they did need a lot of players considering they took 52 total commits. But here's the thing, some of those guys gotta work out. So that's good for your dynasty because you're gonna have a lot of depth. And you have a great rivalry with New Mexico State. The game has been played 100 times. Last year was the 100th matchup, Battle of I-10. I didn't know, these schools are only like 35 minutes apart. So if you win the rivalry game, you get 2 trophies. Silver Spade and the Mayor's Cup or the Brass Spittoon. UTEP actually leads this rivalry by 20, 59-39 with 2 ties. Something you can do at UTEP that hasn't been done is win a Conference USA title. They've been in the Conference USA since 2005 and have yet to win one. They won the WAC in 2000 and the Border Conference in 1956, but that's the only 2 conference titles. Sun Bowl stadium capacity is also over 46,000, so as you get good, you can naturally watch that thing fill up pretty well. Like I said, you can win their first bowl game since 1967. They've lost 7 straight bowl games. Also, this will be my team and my dynasty for sure if these Texas Western uniforms are in the game. I know, you probably think those are about as bland as hell. First off, Texas Western just sounds so good off the tongue, and I love simplicity and orange. These look amazing. And if these aren't your flavor, the next Texas Western ones they did this past year look fantastic too, and I'd be rocking these unis every single game of my dynasty with them.